Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Plant-Based Kitchen Podcast. I am your host, Roberta Lowe, and I have a special guest with us today, and her name is Deliane. Deliane would say she was born plant-based. She never liked meat, but even as an infant, she loved eating fruits and vegetables. Her diet choices was validated when she heard a talk of vegetarianism. And even though she was still a child, she told her parents she would no longer eat meat. That's a big step as a child, you know? So she believes that detoxing does not have to be boring and tasteless, but it can be a culinary experience. Right up my alley, child. She's a native from Martinique. She loves blending French, Creole, and other exotic cuisines to create healthy yet tasty vegan dishes. Food as medicine can indeed be a blend. Beautiful, simple ingredients and spices for ultimate flavor and healing. She believes that the right foods prepared the right way can heal mind and body. With her strong interest in holistic mind-body balance, Deliane is training as a raw living food chef and lifestyle nutrition coach. When she turned 39 this year, a mother of three, founded 39 Down, a growing movement for those who want to live more impactful life at any age. Wants to encourage others to make the change they want to see in themselves to accomplish the purpose of their design. Now, I love that last line. The purpose of their design. We all have a purpose. We were all designed and placed on the earth for that specific purpose.
Yeah.
Love that. Thank you so much and welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now, just reading your bio, I actually, as I said, I love the purpose, accomplish the purpose of their design. That's what you're helping people with. I love that you are really trained and going into plant-based in the raw form, because that's my ultimate goal, my life goal.
Nice.
I'm 100% plant-based now, but I really want to transition over to like raw and more specifically more like fruits and vegetables, like vegetables type raw, right? And then and definitely I love the fact that you mixing all these spices and blend them together, okay? As a chef, I'm like, just reading that sentence, I was like, I can do food.
No pressure on me. I'm in training, okay?
And only because I know that Creole, and I know Creole has some very bold and flavorful spices with it in their culture. And I know French has, even though it's subtle, it's just how they're making it, the time that they put into it, everything. It's just really, I just know those particular things. I was like, I might have to, I'm just getting a little hungry here. But enough about what I feel. Tell us about yourself.
Yes, well, I am not a chef or cook by trade at all. I am actually an audiologist by training. So hearing testing, hearing aids. I work with yes, I work with I'm not at the VA, but with veterans with their helping them get their benefits. And so it was, a bit of a surprise for people who know that when they saw that I started talking about food and health and so on. I was like, that's not what that's not what we know you for. But that it has always been though my passion, my interest. Whenever I come alive, whenever I come vibrant, it's around food. people ask me, what's your favorite thing to do? I remember, when we were in different groups, in young adult groups and stuff. What's your favorite thing to do? Going to the market. Like, I don't need to shop for clothes, but I love clothes and shoes and stuff. But if you give me the option, I'm going to the market. I'm going to buy food. And I just love flavors. I just love the colors, the flavors, the juice and all of those things. It's just that, makes me come to life. And so it's just always been my passion. And then food in general, I love to eat. I love to eat, but like you said in the bio, I never liked meat. I never liked meat. I would have a little square like this, like really, of meat in my plate. And I just wouldn't eat it. I would stay there sitting for hours at the table by myself, just trying to decide how can I have to eat it. It's not going in. I don't know how it's going in my mouth. And so my parents went to see doctors, pediatricians, like, what's wrong with her? And all those different things, like, well, she's getting all her nutrients, she's healthy. So, and then once I heard somebody talk about health and vegetables and you don't need meat and all those different things. And my parents, I don't remember, it's funny, I don't remember the experience. My parents remember it. And they said, I got in the car and I said, see, I don't need to eat meat. So I don't want the meat anymore in my plate, please, thank you. and from that point, because they heard it and because they knew I was healthy, they just never put it in my plate anymore. I just never had to eat it anymore. So that was a victory for me. But yeah, food, I love food, but fruits and veggies just really make me come alive. So
that is good. Now you touched on a few points. One, being in a culture where as though we're forced to eat our plate and we can't get up from the table unless what we're eating. And that plays a large part on so many people eating habits. You were fortunate enough to actually put up that protest, I would say.
A protest, yes. It was.
Protest, and actually be successful and win your case, right?
I guess because I'm French, we have a lot of protests. It's something that you know about the French, they're always protesting something. So maybe that's why I got it from.
Yeah. So it really is good because I know you and I kind of similar in what we're teaching and about, when people are changing their eating habits, about how it does take the mind to help you to change your eating habits. And it also, plays a part on how you grew up. Like, it's so many elements other than the mechanics of you just eating. So I know that you and I both on both of our platforms, we do discuss that with our audience. So that is awesome. That is great. Can you tell people about like the products and the services that you do offer? I know you do have a platform out there and you So what do you offer?
Yeah, so I am still in training. So I take it very seriously. So and some people tell me, well, you already know enough, you could share already. And yes, but then I do feel like the transition from plant-based to not even plant-based, but just eating regular, the standard American diet, standard westernized diet, and then transition to raw. It takes a bit of expertise, and then eating raw and balancing all the nutrients and knowing what you're doing to your body. I think it is important to know, to have a little bit of expertise on that. And I don't feel like I'm there just yet. What I do though, is I do have a YouTube channel and also live on Facebook, where I invite guests, people that I feel know some areas. And it's not just about food, it's mind body. So I have a segment when we chat, it's called Let's Chat. And we have guests, I have guests coming on and talk about different aspects of the mind and the body and health in general, wellness. And then we have the Let's Cook segment, where we come together in the kitchen and we cook together live. This segment, sometimes my kids come, my kids join. They just, yeah, it's interesting. Gets interesting sometimes. So sometimes with the cooking, I do just me and the kids, and sometimes I do have a guest. And so it's just sharing. And my concept was really, I just want to share as I learn. So I am learning. I'm sitting there with the guests, learning, taking notes, but I want to share with others as I'm learning.
Yeah, and I think that's really good. Even though you say you don't know too much about it or know enough, I think with me being a guest on your podcast and viewing your podcast with the other guests, I think that actually watching your journey, I think your podcast, your teaching is so unique because you're taking us along with your journey,
Yes.
And being so asking all the questions that all of us will ask, because too many that are raw, and what that actually means to actually be raw. A traditional type vegan or whatever. So I think that with what you're doing is actually really, really good. You have great content. You actually really have very high level questions, whereas though we're like, yes.
Well, that's encouraging. Thank you. And really, those are questions that I'm asking myself, and so I'm glad that is of interest to others as well. I'm glad.
Yes, and it's like taking, like, how you're sitting in a classroom and it's always, oh, should I ask that question? But then somebody else asks it, and you're like, okay, yes, okay, they asking my question.
That's true.
No, it's being answered. So that is awesome. Can you discuss a little bit? I know you're kind of new to it, but you've been doing it for a while. You've been doing it for at least
a few years, a couple of years. Yes.
Okay, so what, break down the difference between a raw vegan and like a traditional type vegan? What are the differences between?
Right. Well, as the name says, you just eat raw. And so you end up eating a lot of fruits and vegetables, sprouts, and some sprout seeds and some nuts. And there's different, just like in plant-based, in vegan and all those things, you have all kind of different levels of people say, well, I only eat, you have the fruitarians, like, right. And then you have the one that say, well, don't eat too much leafy greens, eat more fruits. And then nuts are still, acidic and all those different things. So you have different people, still different school of thoughts within raw. But the idea is that you eat foods that are raw or slightly warmed up to a certain temperature. And so you can still have like a warm soup or certain things that are warmed, but they're not cooked. And the idea is that when something is raw to warm to about 108 degrees, as I'm saying that, it's just you get the most nutrients out of the food. Okay, once you start cooking and boiling things, you're losing nutrients. It's just like if you're boiling a broccoli and it's went from bright green to brownish, well, it doesn't have much to it anymore, right?
Flipped over,
right. And so you might as well drink the broccoli juice in the pot.
That's what the nutrients went to.
Yeah, and so it's the more alive it is. And then there is an aspect of raw that also when you talk about sprouts is living foods. So you eat raw and you also eat living foods. So those are sprouts, seeds that are sprouted. And you can see the little germ, just like in science class, you can see the little germs coming out. And that's telling you that seed is at the peak level of nutrients, because If you think about, again, science class, they tell you the seed, that if you take a bean, for example, or a lentil or a chickpeas,
Mhm.
for them to sprout, they have to unleash all those nutrients from within
Then,
to
yeah.
feed that sprout that's
Mhm.
coming out. And so that's the moment, if you eat it at that point, you get the life. Okay. So
Mm.
that's why it's called living foods. And so eating a lot of sprouts is good for you. Even when you eat vegan and not raw, adding some sprouts to your food is good.
Yes, yes. And I think it's definitely, you named several different things within the raw vegan community.
Right.
And, and that's pretty much the same, when I actually turned vegan, 100% vegan myself, start cooking, start doing it in a restaurant, wrote a book about it and everything of that nature. And I found that it was so much more
Mm-hmm.
different elements to being vegan, and
Yes.
what those were. And like I said, the raw vegan, and I never knew about the difference between raw and traditional. And it's just a whole learning outside of the different foods that you now have
Yeah.
on your plate.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a different experience. So I think that how just based upon how you just broke it down, the living foods, who would have known about sprouts being categorized as living foods, and that's
Right.
actually have on your plate, things of that nature. So I think that is definitely a win, definitely something that we have to be mindful of, because what we put in our body would either aid us in good health or aid us in bad health.
It will. It will. It only goes one way or not or the other. And so
Yes.
for me, my choice is I want to, just like, we talked about, why do I do this? It's because I want to live my best life, fulfill my purpose. I want to have the energy. I don't want to be sick. Now, things happen, accidents happen. We live in a world that is very toxic all around us. So, things happen, but I want to put my best foot forward, my best chance that when I am well, I have the most energy that I can have, and then, do what I feel I'm designed to do. So.
Yes, absolutely. Now, how does one prepare to be a raw vegan? Is this just something that you'll just wake up one day and say, I'll be raw today? Or is it something like a process? How does one become a raw vegan?
You can do either. You can do either. I mean, it's just like when you see those people that empty their whole pantry and decide today as of today I'm eating healthy. Or you can transition. I think that I think it depends on what's going on with your health. Like for some, you have to take action, and you have to take action right away. Okay. You don't have to start tiptoeing around. Well, today I'm going to eat a salad, and then tomorrow I'm going to have, some ribs,
Mm-hmm.
You have to kind of, if you have a health issue, you have to tackle it right away. Mm-hmm. I do believe that if you have a health issue and you want to do that transition, you need to have guidance, because there are things that you might not be able to eat right away. There are some nutrients that you need. There's some medication that clash with, like, for example, like high blood pressure and grapefruits, like there are things that you have to look into.
Right.
So if you have a health issue and it's especially something critical, you do want to get some kind of guidance. But if not, you could transition. My family, I would say we're still transitioning, right? And something I didn't say about raw vegan, again, different school of thoughts in there, that some people would say, well, you may hear about this 80-20 or 80-10-10, or I'm a 90-10, I'm a 60. Yeah. And it's like, okay, guys, and so, because, as you transition, you feel like, well, I still want certain foods, certain, you like fried food, you like bread, you like, and so, but having mostly raw in your plate, mostly raw in your day, And then, if you want to have something else, it's like your side becomes your main, and then your usual mains becomes your side, right? And it's kind of shifting the balance in your plate, right? And then you can continue. Some people, when they say they're raw and they're 80-20 or 80-10-10, they actually mean they're fully raw, but then they eat 10% of seeds, 10% of nuts, and all those different things. Really find your balance. But you have to commit. You have to commit to transition, right? You can't say, well, I'm just, like I said, tiptoeing is not it. There's a difference between transitioning and tiptoeing.
Yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
So if you're transitioning, you're making active effort, you're putting thoughts into it, you're learning about it, right? But tiptoeing is just like, well, I tried today and then tomorrow. Not so much, and that's different. So my family, I would say we're transitioning, and it's been since 2018, that my first raw detox experience. And since then, I've been just adding and adding and adding. And so it's good.
Well, that's good. And I'm glad that you broke down. I like your analogy that you said about, transitioning or tiptoeing.
Yeah.
Because it was so relatable, so real, because you really do have to, it really is, when you're transitioning, you put in more effort. You want to do this, and as you mentioned, tiptoeing, you just trying it and then say, oh, this isn't working. But reality, you didn't put in no effort. You didn't, you didn't even make the adjustment to actually understand what you're doing and back it up on a why you're doing it. So that is really good. Now, what are the benefits you have noticed about eating? I know you have been pretty much plant-based all your life, but what are some benefits that you have noticed either in yourself or in your family or in some of your clients that changing over to plant-based eating really helped them with?
Yeah. Well, I was plant-based, but you've ever heard of this pescatarian?
Okay.
So I was plant-based, but pescatarian, breadarian, pizzatarian, so you can have a nice pasta dish, but if you're eating pasta just about, almost all every day, pasta and potatoes and, all of those different things. And so, and then a lot of, also I was eating a lot of the substitute meat, protein. And so I have, and I still have, because it was, but much better now. So different health issues that I had, although minor issues, but like issues with that, constipation, the digestion not being right, and then my skin was getting better, and the masks are slowing down my process, but because I still have a masked name, but that's all I have now. But my face was a lot of acne, cystic acne, so painful.
Oh my gosh, really?
Oh yeah, I would have to send you pictures.
I
would have to see.
I have seen no acne like you.
Oh no. Well, I have makeup. You can't see the mask line, but the rest is fine now. But I had since teenage years and all through high school and college. I had, I was the high school, the acne, the glasses, and the braces. So I
trifecta.
Yeah. Worked out long term, it's okay, but in the moment, it's not.
Right.
So yeah, it's so I went college with acne, grad school with acne. I got, it just kept, it was there, and it just seems like it wasn't going away, but with that diet, I've seen clearing, and then clearing from, I can tell, from deep and out. Right? Because a lot of things, when you get the dermatologist, the creams and the stuff, you can still feel, especially if you ever had cystic acne, for those who can relate to that, you can still feel the bumps inside, and it still hurts inside, even though the surface seems like it's moving out, it's not really healing like that.
Right.
And so now I can see from the inside out, my skin is healing. Less that wrinkles there, it's almost gone. And then, but the digestion is like when I have babies and I lose the weight, but then I still have my bump. And so I walk around and I still look like I'm pregnant. So it's like everything else is because people are like, what? You're not around everywhere. You're just on your belly. I'm like, yeah, I know. But it's been helping a lot with that. So feeling better, feeling more energized when I wake up too. That's a big one. So yeah.
Okay, good. Now I would say that like you said, if you're eating pasta all the time, then of course that's not it.
Right. And, but even if your pastas have vegetables, it's
right. It's still just pasta. That's just that similar heavy flour in itself. That's just not, it's not good to digest every day because it has no not that it doesn't have any nutrients in it, but it's not enough to sustain the body.
Right.
It breaks down more so harming the body.
Yeah, and it's not healthy carbs. Like carbs, we say carbs are the enemy, but the healthy carbs from fruits and carbs and sugar from the right source are important, are now good for you. They energize you, they feed you all, they give you all day energy.
Right.
Not the empty, simple carbs and simple sugars.
I just actually went through, I noticed I was eating a lot of potatoes, white potatoes. And so I said, you know what? I'm going to stop eating white potatoes. And I did not notice how much I was dependent on these potatoes until I cut them out. And I was craving them so much. And I was like, where's the potatoes?
Yes.
Like mashed potatoes, like I need potatoes. I would eat them constantly, like my daily routine. And so, when I'm just eating those and that actually breaks down and turn into, that sugar and stuff in my body, which isn't aiding me, especially when I'm belly fat or any type of other unwanted body weight, so yeah, even though they're healthy, it's still
right
them so often, those particular food items that do break down into like sugars and things like that. It really doesn't help your body that often. So out of the meals, because you do cooking meals on your channel, on your podcast. So out of those, out of the vegan chefs that you actually had on and that you have cooked with, what has been like your favorite meal so far? Your favorite raw meal actually so far?
Right. Well, actually, it's one that I came up with. I really like.
Tell us.
It was really good. Like what I would say, my very first episode was with my, I call her my teacher, but my very first teacher in raw when I did I went to a raw detox program for 15 days. And her name is Mizzy, Chef Mizzy Stewart. And so we made some cheese, raw cheese with she calls it living raw cheese. It's made with chickpeas, living sprouted chickpeas, and a cabbage, which is something called Rejuvelate. It's like cabbage water, pretty much, and together. And it was that cheese is I still make it now. It's just really, really good. And so, but the whole dish, the whole meal that I like, it was just a Thai salad, and why it had things that I really love, like peppers, and then mangoes in it, a lot of sweet potatoes, different things like that. And then the sauce. So that's one thing, if you hear about raw vegan, it's all about the sauce. Okay, that's the secret. So when we talk about, I'm just gonna have a salad and then you put ranch on it, that's not. That doesn't work. Now, if you make your own sauce, and so I made an avocado, it was like a sweet and spicy avocado sauce with dates, with avocado and dates, and just blended together with different seasoning, and it was really really good. And so in that sauce, I still make. I kind of came up with it because I wanted a recipe, and then now I just make it all the time, just because it's just easy, and it's just delicious. So that's my favorite. It's like a pad Thai salad with with avocado sauce.
Oh wow, that sounds very delicious.
It's good. I would say it's really good. But yeah, but vegan and raw, and because people ask me, so what do you eat? So I eat vegetables. Yeah, but like, what do you eat like when you're hungry, like for the meal? I'm like, well, vegetables. But the when you make a sauce with avocados, you make a sauce with sesame seed, that's tahini. I don't buy tahini much, I just make my own because it's just sesame and
That's
water.
basically
But you can make sauce with chickpeas, and like it's thicker, and it really fills you up, but then you just add seasonings to it. And so just throw away your dressings, just make your own. If that's the only thing that you do, throw away your store-bought dressings and make your own dressings.
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. Like homemade dressings are so much more tastier because they're fresher. You don't have the additives in it,
Right.
that sustain on the shelves and things of that nature. So absolutely.
Yeah.
And dressing is so simple and easy to make.
Right. And it really builds up your dish.
Yes, absolutely. And what I noticed for raw dishes is that they're in some type of sauce.
Yes.
A lot of the dishes that I have seen, it's covered in some type of sauce.
Yeah. And the thing is, but that's why I said, our raw is like the sauce is everything. But the thing is that you can pour as much sauce as you want because your sauce is also
vegetables. Yeah.
So it doesn't, it's seeds, it's sprouts, veggies. It doesn't. It doesn't hurt you, just like if you put Italian or ranch or whatever, that doesn't, you pretty much cancel out the salad when you do that,
Right.
But those sauces, homemade or whatever, they really build up the dish with the taste and everything, make it very interesting, but they also nourish you. So, you can see stuff people are like drenched in sauce, but you really still, eating healthy. So.
Yes. And I'm glad that you point out the fact that the sauce is made of vegetables. Because so many people think that you only have to prepare a vegetable a certain way. And it's tons of way to prepare the vegetable.
Yeah.
It's your meal. And so dressing is just preparing and pouring the vegetables down where and adding some liquid base to it. And using it as a dressing really is just another way of incorporating those flavors into your dish and having that healthy meal.
Right.
So and if you use an avocado, you don't need oil. Avocado is already have oils already in it. It's already creamy and things of that nature. So having those different vegetables for that just is adding another layer to raw dish. So yes,
that's true. That's very true. Like I don't eat, and so that's one thing. I would buy better oils, avocado oil, and things like that. But it's not like I'm not frying with it, per se. So it lasts me longer, but if you feel like you have to fry a big pot of something, then you're not going to use avocado oil. You're going to use something that's cheaper and that's not good for you. Right. So yeah, avocado sauce, you don't need oil. Like if you did soaked cashew, like a creamy sauce, cheesy type of sauce, you don't need oil because the cashew, the nuts are going to give you their own oil. Peanuts, same thing, So.
Yes. So tell us about three takeaways that you actually want the audience to really know, whether it's dealing with the health, the mind, the body, the soul, you know, what or all of the above.
I know so many. But you know, I would say the takeaway for me, one of the takeaways is you can start at any time, right? A lot of people, they'll say, well, I'm 65, you know, and it's already that going downhill from there, you know. But you can start at 65 and go all the way to 95, you know, completely different. That's 30 years. 30 years of a completely different life, you know, pain-free, virtually pain-free. You can start going to the gym at 65,
Absolutely.
right? And still be at the gym at 95. I just saw a video of a professor. She's a math professor. She's like 90 something. And she's at the gym. And I was like, man, my life is I need to pick up my
reassess our life. Yeah. Reassessing like what is happening right now.
Right. And but it's like you can, you know, so that's my first one. You can start at any time. And that's really the premise of my show, 39 Down. You know, I'm 39 years in, 39 years down, but I have a lifetime to go. You know, it might be one day, right? And it might be another, you know, 90 years, whichever way I want to give them to the fullness life that I can have. So that's my first takeaway. You know, you can start at any time. The other one I would say is easier than you think. It's easier than you think because when we talk about, you know, raw and vegetables, and I just had somebody today at work, she's never cooked greens, like collard greens. And so she was like, she looked, you know, we say, all you have to do is wash them and season, and she looked so lost, you know. And so making, you know, that's a mindset thing, you know. It's really not as difficult as you think. Just give it a try. Just take one step. Just cook one thing. You know, just say, well, what do I do with these vegetables? Like one thing that my kids, we all love is like raw sweet potatoes. Like, you know, I don't know anything about raw sweet potato, but, you know, I have juiced it. You can make dessert with them. You can just peel and shave them and have them in your salad. It's nice, it's crunchy and sweet together, you know, and it's just a simple thing, you know, but just take something that you know, like a sweet potato, like you know how to make candy yam, but let's see, okay, what else can I do with this vegetable that I know, you know, and start like that. It's really not as difficult as you think. You don't need as much equipment as you think, a knife and a cutting board to start. And then if you can get a good blender, and then you can add more stuff if you want, you know.
Right.
That's the second one. And the third one, I'll say sauce is everything. If you're going raw, get you, like, seriously, if you're going to buy a book, get a book on sauce. Get a book on
that is great
raw
advice.
Sauces. That's gonna help you. I mean, you can have blend lettuce, but you pour some nice raspberry something sauce on it, and it's changed. You know, it's completely changed the course of the meal. Okay, so I would say if you're going to start somewhere raw, you know, pour something else on your salad, get you a book or something, get some sauces in your life. So awesome. That's what I have.
Awesome. I think all of those are great takeaways for us to really know. Because people that's listening to this podcast is more so of those who are looking to transition over, you know, being vegan, and just you coming on and actually adding this element of raw vegan and giving us an insight about that journey is really, really helpful. And the three takeaways is definitely something that
I'm glad.
Also say,
and I would say it's like a bonus when I say be kind to yourself. Be kind
Yes.
to yourself. It's okay. You'll get there. Like I said, if
Yes.
you don't have like a pressing health issue and you need to, just be kind to yourself. Take it step by step by step.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because we have to make sure that when we're transitioning, we stay in a positive light as possible so that we can continue to win and we continue to be our success is sustainable,
Right, exactly.
last a long time. And so, just know that once again, however, whatever age you're at now, that's how long it took you to build up your eating habits. That's how long the data has been processing in your head.
Yeah.
Files has been stored away. So now when you're moving into transitioning into changing a habit,
Mm-hmm.
no matter what that habit is, today we're talking about eating, that takes a little time. That takes processing, and always think of it from a point of view of you are able to be successful, you're winning, and don't focus on, when you fall off the saddle, get back on, continue to push through. So I think that is a big help for people to think about that in that mindset term. So tell everybody where we can follow you or reach you or you.
Yes. On Facebook and Instagram is Deliane Bell. Simply Deliane Bell on Facebook and Instagram. And then on YouTube, 39 down. So 30, the word 30, the number 9, and the word down, 39 down. You can find the channel on YouTube. And if not, you find it also on Instagram and Facebook. You'll find the channel there, Deliane Bell on there.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Deliane, for being with us today.
It was my pleasure. It was a joy.
You have been a very special guest, so thank you so much. I do appreciate it. And for all of our guests that's out there, our audience that's out there, thank you for tuning into the Plant-Based Podcast. Again, I am your host, Roberta Lowe, executive chef, restaurateur, and author. And I just appreciate you actually tuning in today. So we will see you on the next podcast. Look forward to more guests and more knowledge to help you in your journey to be your best self.